Let's talk spellwork versus mundane action. So this video is inspired by one of the conversations that I had with one of my patrons from Patreon. It was a rather interesting discussion that I kind of had to postulate in the moment because I kind of really hadn't thought about it ish, and then I thought I'd make a video out of it. And his question was, when do I switch from doing mundane action like every day, whatnot, to spell work, right? So the way that I talk about magic is that it should not be the very first thing that you go to when you are trying to get something done, when you are trying to execute something or have something happen. As of recently, I've been talking about the magical sandwich, where you have mundane action and then spell work and then mundane action. So mundane action is the bread, and spell work is the meat, right? So whenever you're trying to have something manifest in your life, or you're trying to, create something, destroy something, whatever change that you are trying to make, you want to see if you can do it yourself without magic first. And here's why. So we live in this physical reality, this 4D world. Why 4? Because you have, height, length, width, and time. That's 4 dimensions. Maybe I should make a video on that one of these days. Let me know if you guys kind of want that. Um, so everything that happens around us is in the physical, like this 4D reality, right? So anything that happens around this reality needs to find a way to manifest in this reality through physical means. So we want to try that first. If you're looking to, generate money or banish something, bind something, create something, what have you, it is possible to do any of that through physical means, through working with all the opportunities that we have here first. Then, if all of your efforts are not working out, that's when you can turn to spell work to get the assistance from entities that are around us, or to use the energy that and the mechanisms that we call magic here on this channel and in other channels and such, to force what you are looking to have manifest to manifest, right? And what magic does is it hijacks the, what I'm going to term, the continuum of creation, and forces it to happen. So I'm trying to remember who said it. Let me know down in the comments, or heck, I might think of it later and put it down in the comments or something. But magic effectively is forcing something through intent, thought, and will to manifest in this reality. So if think about it this way, right? If you have an idea or a desire that is super strong and it happens over time, and that idea and that feeling builds up again and again and again and again and again, something that you've constantly been thinking about, people's like big dreams and stuff. The more that you focus on it and the more that you think about it, the more likely it is to occur. And this can be positive things or negative things. We can think about self-fulfilling prophecies all the time. You can think about ideas that you've had for forever that eventually find their way into creating themselves. Like, for me it was my books, right? I had just the desire to write so freaking much. And I knew that I knew I was going to write a book, and I just had to have the right I had to have that aha moment, which if you read Magical Theater, you'll actually read about that aha moment in the preliminary discussion. And so the thoughts around that, they just became so strong over time that I had no choice but to change from an idea into a physical thing. So let's get back on topic with this stuff. So his question is, well, I'm doing all this mundane action towards a goal. When do I know to switch over to Spellwork. So the idea is, think of what you have tried and, write down and plan and, write out, this is my goal. To move towards it, I have tried A, B, C, and D. When you've exhausted all of those ideas of, you've tried everything that you could think of, and, you've looked at it from a bunch of different angles, and what you were trying to have manifest is still not manifesting, right? Still not coming true. Well, then that's your time to turn to spell work because you've exhausted all the other avenues. And then our discussion led to the idea of, well, there's times when you do spell work for something that you have not actually done yet. And an example of this could be, you can't go to the same job interview multiple times, right? You don't have like do-overs. You can't, screw something up and then go back to your last save point, for example. So if there is something that you are trying to do or an event that you are trying to sway in a particular way, then that event only happens once. So of course you can do spell work prior to that event in order to kind of prep you or prime you, let's say, for that event to happen in your way. And the way that you can do that is, you can focus on a sigil of intent of how you want that particular situation to work out. You can set the intention, set the energy. You can create your own sigil, like what I talk about in Handy Sigil Magic and Magical Movement. Or you can work with like one of the 50 names of Marduk, or maybe any of the other spirits and stuff that they talk about in a lot of different grimoires, such as the 72 Goetic Daemons, stuff like that. You are effectively creating your future. So let's look at the magical sandwich with this, right? You have the mundane action of getting yourself to that event, like let's say it's a job interview, right? Then you have the magic, so you are planning on how the rest of that situation is going to play out, and then you have the mundane action of following through. So you have the mundane action prepping you, you have the spell work to set the direction, and then you have the mundane action after that to follow through, because you're living in the mundane world, you use the spell work, and then the mundane action kind of gets to go full circle or full sandwich. Yeah. And on the flip side, you can have a situation where you have tried everything in the physical world for it to manifest, and then you are trying the spell work to give it an extra swift kick in the ass, right? So you could be trying to eliminate something in your life, whether it be a bad person or a bad habit, and you've tried every single thing possible to get that thing to occur, and none of your efforts are working out for you. And then you do spell work to, give it a jump start. So the idea that I'm trying to get across to you guys here in this particular situation is that it is kind of different and yet the same as what I just spoke about with, prepping for a job interview, doing the spell work, and then going to the job interview. If you have a situation where you keep trying all these mundane things and then it doesn't work, you do the spell work to give it a swift kick, which is kind of your last resort, and then you still have that follow through. So, you don't want to, if you're trying to change a situation, you don't just go with the mundane action and then do the spell work and hope that everything works out. You got to keep that intent in your mind, and you got to keep working towards that goal. So if you want to stop talking to somebody, but they just won't leave you the hell alone, and then you do the spell work, you can't just walk around la-di-da like the problem solved. You got to walk the walk and you got to talk the talk. So as a rule of thumb, resort to spell work when you have tried everything in your toolbox and you can't think of where to go next. You could work with a friendly spirit that would be helpful to you, such as the 50 Names of Marduk or any other entities that you can think of. You could even create a ritual space and just sit with the idea and see what inspiration comes to you. So resort to spell work when you don't have any idea of where to go next if you feel kind of lost, or if there is a specific event that you only have one shot at that you want to do your best at. Yeah, that's about it in a nutshell. So let me know what you guys think about this. Let's start a discussion down below, or you can join my Magickology YT group on Facebook and we can have our discussion there. So as always, keep those video suggestions coming, and good hunting. Thanks for watching my video. So if you want to check out my playlists, I have, among others, the Simon Necronomicon, the Tree of Life, General Magic, Tulpamancy, a playlist on my books, the elements, stones, the theories that govern magic, and the gods and goddesses of Mesopotamia. If you want to check out my books on Amazon, I have Creating Consciousness, Magical Mechanics, Magical Theater, Handy Sigil Magic, Magical Movement, which is an update and expansion upon Handy Sigil Magic, Magical Mastery, which is a combination masterwork of Magical Theater and Magical Mechanics, and The Guide to the Spheres and Beyond. You can also find me on Facebook at Magickology YT. You can email me at priestofthenecro@gmail.com, and you can even check out my Instagram, which is Magickology. And good hunting.